What is going on, everybody? Today, we are following up to the past chess video. This time, we got a game against none other than GothamChess. So, for those who do not, really follow the chess scene, do not really know what he is, basically, he's an international master from New York, who is now the most subscribed to chess player or chess channel, straight up, on YouTube with 1.32 million subscribers, which is absolutely insane, considering like big platforms like chess.com, even Hikaru, who's one of the best players in the world, have less than him. So he's like a very entertaining personality. Here's his wiki page. Yeah, he's 26, from Brooklyn, and known for his Twitch and YouTube, right? So a couple years back, we're gonna go back to January 28th, 2019, Monday. Okay, and there's some loopholes in this story, which is why I'm confused. But basically, shout out to chess.com. They got the information right here. January 28th, 2019, 3:07 p.m. So this is the part I get a little bit confused on, because I know Martin Luther King Day is the third Monday of every January. But this was the fourth Monday, according to his graphic. And also, you don't even need the graphic. Like, the 28th is not going to be the third Monday, right? And if school ends at 3:15, how exactly was I playing? Like, was there no, like, I'm trying to figure out, was there no school that day? There must have been no school, or I was not at school for some reason. That's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Because I remember vividly I was playing this game at home. I do remember that. Now, a little bit of background. So before this game, I was actually not a master yet. When I played Hikaru, I was already a master. Before I played Levy, I was not a master yet. I had just come off maybe one of the best tournaments of my life. I had played a tournament in Minnesota. I finished clear second. I beat two masters in rounds 4 and 5. It was 5 games. And the dude who got first is Andrew Tang. I don't know if any of you know him. Penguin GM1. He's a grandmaster, right? So I ended up like gaining 30 points, and I was 4 points away from or 4 rating points away from becoming a master. So I was off a pretty big high, and that tournament was the 26th and 27th. So I was up, right? Now, some other clarity is that Gotham Chess was not, so he was honestly probably a stronger chess player at this point than he is now. Or I shouldn't say that, but he was probably just as good, because, when you get to a certain level, it becomes harder to improve. And probably at this time, he was more focused on his own improvement than he is now, right? Now that he has a YouTube channel, among other things. He's married as well. But so yeah, that in that aspect, in terms of chess, he's the same. But at this time, he had like a pretty small, like not a small following, but like I remember I pulled up his Twitch. I'm going to talk about how I got the game. I pulled up his Twitch, and like I think he had like about 300 viewers. He was not nearly what he was now. He really skyrocketed onto the YouTube scene. Like, he got 1 million subscribers like in less than probably 2 years of serious posting. So I got this game because Levy, shout out to him, he was holding a viewer arena. What's a viewer arena? It's basically like a tournament where anybody can play him, right? And he was the top seed. And I go and look, and the way it is that the top seed plays the second seed for this type of tournament. Not normal tournaments, but this is like called an arena. So the top seed plays the second seed. And I'm looking, and the second guy, at the time, it was like 1 minute away from starting, was lower rated than me. So I'm like, once again, this is 14-year-old Ashton. I'm like, a menace. I'm like, I need to play him. I need to. So I go and hop in the tournament, and I'm like, okay, please nobody higher than me join so I can get a game against Levy, and then I can dip. And what do you know? Actually, nobody joins. So I get queued with him immediately. I get the black pieces, and here we go, right? So this time, I was like, I'm not going to stream tonight. We're going to go ahead and mute the stream in the background, and we're just going to play, right? So he opens with knight f3. I play d5, and we get, I'm not going to talk too much about the chess component of the game until we get into like critical moments. But basically, Levy always likes to play like some like kind of like pretty solid setup as white, like where basically both sides just kind of develop their pieces, and then we get a game, right? So this all happens, and up until this point, like, I'm still holding tight. I have a very solid position. I like the position of this bishop. And by the way, the time control was 3 minutes plus 2 seconds to move. So you get 3 minutes for the whole game, but every move you make, you get an additional 2 seconds. So For those wondering, technically it's possible to like finish a game with over 3 minutes. So yeah, at this point, I actually felt like things had been going pretty well. Like definitely I'm not better, but like it's an equalish position, and for him to do anything, he might have to kind of like what we call overpress, and he might have to take risks to try to beat me because right now I'm very solid. So yeah, he's trying to set up some batteries. He's got his bishops pointing towards my king. I have one bishop pointing towards his king. And then yeah, here I think was probably where things started to go a little wrong for him. I think around here, like if he plays something just like knight c4 attacking my queen, position is probably close to equal. But instead he goes f4, which even when I was just playing the game itself, I was extremely nervous probably. But even here, I think is a very risky decision because my next move, I was planning on playing rook d8 anyways, but this move actually creates a threat. What's that threat? It's to take this pawn. And I know that may look wrong, but if I take this pawn and white takes back, the only defender of this bishop besides his queen was this pawn. So takes, and I can take this bishop. And that would be a very good transition for me. So because of this, Levy, obviously being a very strong player, knows this and he plays g3, protecting this. But then I hit him with another, bam, I played knight takes e3. And this is a cool move because basically now you're probably thinking, all right, if he takes this knight, I can't even take this because his knight protects it. But my plan, if he was to take this knight, was I take this knight first, hit the queen, he takes back, let's just say with the pawn, and then I take the bishop. So I win a pawn in the exchange, and beyond the pawn, his king is so weak, and these light squares across the diagonal are so weak. So after knight takes e3, he played a move that kind of surprised me, but it was an in-between move. He plays bishop takes h7 check, right? With the idea that, oh, yeah, I don't want to lose a pawn, so I'm going to give him my bishop for a pawn and then take the knight back. And we're on equal material again. What's the problem for white? It's after queen d5. We talked about these light squares. This king is so weak. And immediately I'm threatening to play queen h1 check. And that won't be checkmate, at least not immediately. But after the king moves, it's forced to go here. I take here, the queen is hanging, right? So this is a very, very dangerous proposition for white to deal with. And it's not too easy to come with a solution because this battery, there's only one way to really stop it, and that's the move Levy played, which is knight. Oh, he played queen c2 check first, and then knight c6. And right here was when I kind of like I had felt okay about my position, but right here was like where I was like, I got him, and I went rook c8. And at this point, white is losing because there's no way for him to get out of this pin and protect the knight at the same time. For example, if he were to play knight b4, I just take his queen. And if he takes my queen, I take his rook with check. He has to take back. I end up a piece in an endgame. This would have been an easy win for me. So, what else could have he done? I mean, it's hard to say. There's no way for him to basically protect this knight. And next move, I'm going to take his knight. So in the game, he played the move queen g2. And I was like, okay. I was getting really nervous here because when you're winning against such a strong player, you always get nervous. And I was like, okay, I can just take the knight with the rook. I can take the knight with the bishop. I can trade queens. Everything's winning. So I just trade queens and I take the knight with the rook. And I'm like, weirdly enough, right here, usually when you're losing, you don't want to trade pieces. But it felt like he had no choice to trade pieces because my bishop is staring right at his king. So if he does anything besides trade, I'm going to have so many what we call discovered checks where I move my rook and then my bishop is attacking the queen. Now, I won't lie. At this point, I kind of switched tabs and unmuted the stream because I was starting to feel quite confident. And I remember him being there and he was like, oh, shoot. This is looking really bad for me. Okay, let's just play rook d1. And I remember he said, let's just hope to flag him, right? What does flag mean? It means run him out of time. Now, here was where I was like, oh my gosh. Like, okay, obviously right here I'm winning. I'm up a piece. But right here I can just end the game immediately. Because like I said, if he did anything besides trade, I was going to have some really nasty, what we call discovered checks with my rook, where I move this rook and give a check at the same time. Which basically means that I could play a move like rook d6 check. And I'm checking his king and hitting his rook at the same time. So there's nothing you can do to, like, he can't take the rook because he's in check. He has to move the king, and then I take his rook. And what I realized during the game was that rook c1 is the exact same thing. So I spent like 5 seconds here just making sure, because rook c1 would also do all the same purpose. And I realized that I was winning, and he realized that he had messed up. And at this point, Levy resigned. So that was, yeah, an absolutely insane moment for me. I actually I wasn't as excited as I should be. Like if I were to have played him when he had 1 million subs and beat him, then or like right now, then I would probably be, extremely ecstatic. But then I was kind of just like, wow, that's cool. I beat Levy. Now, a couple of things I want to say. First of all, he was streaming and playing at the same time. He was interacting with chat a lot. Just being realistic, if he was probably full on focus, this game probably would not have been the same result. And the second thing I want to say was Levy was actually very, very graceful in defeat. If you don't know anything about chess players, maybe I'm the best example of this. You get a lot of really arrogant people, a lot of people who have just extreme confidence and, can't accept defeat properly and just like are complete, ultimate competitors, right? Maybe none better example than myself. So, him being such dominant in a field like chess, or maybe I shouldn't say dominant because he's not Magnus Carlsen, but him being so good in a field like chess, you usually expect him to be a guy who's like, he's like, oh, I just lost this dude because he got lucky, right? But actually, after he lost, he was like, man, that guy played really well. Props to him, good game, and that's amazing because like he was very, very respectful when he lost. And yeah, so that's the game. That's how I beat Gotham Chess, Levy Rosman. One of my best accomplishments online, at least. And yeah, it felt very good. So I hope everyone learned everything in this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you do so, go ahead, leave a like, comment, do your thing. And yeah, stay tuned for more content like this. I've played a lot of other chess superstars. I have a lot of stories from chess in general. So yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed this video, and I guess I have nothing else. So until next time,